So I read some posts. One of them was, I think, CNN, and there was some disturbing comments in there, disturbing from both sides. And it's no stranger that some people on the far right want some people on the far left killed, and some people on the far left want some people on the far right killed. I'm not for it. Nobody should be murdering anybody. And most Democrats are not for this murderer that killed Charlie Kirk, right? I'm not for what happened with Congress for a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk because they didn't include the kids that got shot that day. It's kind of disrespectful to the parents of the kids that if you're a friend of Donald Trump, you get a moment of silence. But if you're a little kid that gets shot in America, you don't get anything. Having said that, the VA here and the VAs across America have their flag half mast for Charlie Kirk and not for the kids. I asked some veterans about it, but some veterans, unfortunately, like some veterans were on January 6th side, and some veterans were a little bit more upset about it than others. The flag shouldn't have been half-mast at the VA. That's not attack against America, and that wasn't an attack against a veteran, that fellow veteran that died. And personally, a good president would have said, you know what, there's too many shootings in America. We're going to have the mask across all government agencies because we need to stop these shootings in remembrance. That's what a good president would have done, right? We don't have a good president now. We don't have a good far left. We don't have any good far right sometimes. It seems that everybody's at ends with each other. Some people are calling this shooter a hero. He's not a hero. He's a murderer. I literally read one comment that said this guy did the Lord's work. No, he didn't. You know that if you read the Bible. Thou shalt not kill. Unfortunately, that's not doing the Lord's work, right? You took the Lord out of it when he decided to murder, right? He didn't let the God handle him in the way that God wanted to. You took away God's will and made your own. So no, that's not doing God's work. Most Democrats, like I said, they will be against the shooting. They don't like it. Matter of fact, most shootings happen at, you can argument that it's really not politically at all. It's kind of sad, really, what's going on in America. There's so much hate for each other. Nobody's listening. And people are literally just want the other side dead. And that's not any way to live. It's not any way to... it's not any way for Americans to be, man. It's got to stop. So, don't know what to tell anybody anymore. It's just like nobody's going to listen anyway. There's no rationality. There's no... nobody speaks with love anymore. One of the reasons why I really don't ever want to go back to the United States, there's just too much hate. There's too much hate for everybody. You can't even turn on YouTube and not see somebody at either a Waffle House, a McDonald's, throwing something, getting mad, yelling. They're throwing out the B word, you're the P word, you're weak, I'm going to, F you up. It's just getting out of hand in America. Nobody's taking a chance just to sit down, take a few breaths, just rationalize things out a little bit. Just be a little bit more human. The Bible does talk about this time period when people's hearts grow cold, unfortunately. They're lovers themselves, and that's just that. No, they don't care about anybody else, and it's really hurting America, and it's hurting the image of America. But like I said, having the flags at half-mast just because Charlie Kirk's your friend, Donald Trump, that's not cool, man. You're disrespectful to veterans. You're disrespectful to everybody else when you do that stuff. And, I'm aware of who Charlie Kirk is. I've seen a few videos of him talking. I don't hate him. I don't necessarily disagree with him. I don't necessarily agree with everything he says. But I don't want him dead. No more than I want, some trans person dead. Somebody on the far left dead. I don't want anybody shooting anybody. It's ridiculous. And most Democrats that have any kind of rationality, most Republicans that have any kind of rationality, that still think with that kind of logical steps, they will tell you nobody should be murdering anybody. It's got to stop, man. There's just too many murders in America, and, in some of the comment sections, it's just like nobody stops and thinks. And it's really funny is the far right and the far left don't seem to understand who God is, right? They don't seem to understand what his word is and what he wants. We already know Republicans don't read the Bible because if they did, they wouldn't have voted for Trump. We already know that far left clearly don't read the Bible either. Both of them don't read it. Nobody reads the Bible anymore. It doesn't help that a lot of these churches are becoming hate churches. And if you go to a lot of churches, especially in the South, they don't read the Bible. They might open up a passage or two. They might quote a passage or two. But most won't read the Bible anymore either. They're just going off on whatever it is they're going off on for that week. And that's why a lot of churches are unfortunately sitting empty now. Preachers are pushing more people away than they're bringing in. Then they're trying to come up with clever excuses why that's okay. And it's not. Right? So, yeah, America, they're just at ends with one another. Nobody's taking a deep breath anymore, man. This is the new America. This is why I tell people don't go to America anymore. America is not the country that it could be. It's not the country that people thought it would be, especially under Trump, right? So, just to reiterate, we got a lot of people saying Trump 2028. Well, it's illegal for him to run. You guys voted because you said you want him to tough down on crime, but you're voting for him to do something illegally. So it's just like this contradiction. This, it's okay if we break the law, but it's not okay for you to break the law. Syndrome's got to stop for both sides, right? Yeah, America, man, it's falling apart at the seams, and nobody seems to care. Nobody's backing down. Nobody wants to change. Nobody wants to take a deep breath. And things are going to get a whole lot worse before they get... I don't know what to do, man. Don't know how to heal this country anymore. I really don't.